Or maybe he doesn't like that schools like Harvard have kind of dropped down a couple of notches because of DEI. So it's not really the students he's looking at. He's looking at specific schools and the reputations they now have. Because I just don't see that as a big problem with schools.
You don't
But
think
I could be
that? Do
wrong.
you know
I
how
could be
much
wrong.
they are pushing liberal agendas on college campuses? It's
But
bad,
that's not,
very bad.
no, I
Hey,
would
Because
can I?
imagine
he
that.
was also talking about Marxist
Yep.
indoctrination and stuff like that. It was
Yeah.
more than just
Well, and that's
DEI.
why I said he was, I would have to really hear what he would intend to do, because to me when he mentioned those things, his solution was kind of vague. So I don't know what he means he would actually do about that part.
Mm.
Did you pick that up?
No, I think that the solution was very much matter of fact, and I didn't see it as vague. He just
So what did
basically
he say he
said,
would do to deal with the liberal agenda, the Marxism? What did he say he would do with that?
no, he wasn't very specific because you got to remember this was only a 2.5 minute video, right?
Right.
So he didn't go into specifics about pushing, rooting out the liberal agenda. I think that he was more or less focused on the qualifications of accreditation for that particular university.
Got that.
So the qualifications for accreditation, I think, is going to be vetted more effectively, and a lot of the things that we then allow for universities to be accredited for, which then source government funds in order for them to survive, is going to be scrutinized now.
I agree with that.
And
I
so, in
agree
a
with that
general
part. I
sense, I think
understood
that
that.
that's what he's communicating.
Well, I definitely think that there should be a better process with that. Isn't that some of the reason why some of these schools were closing? I mean, it's been a
It
couple
is.
of people who went to school went to
Well,
schools trying to get their transcripts, and the
part of the
schools are
problem
closing
is
now.
that the schools, in my opinion, I think that the schools, we look at schools as as a form of higher education. The schools themselves, I think, are pushing a lot of this stuff because it could be profitable for them to do so, to adjust to what they think the cultural woke norms are. So, for example, you know, if you go to certain schools, they gonna push you to financial aid department. They're gonna push you into debt. They're gonna push it. They got, all of this stuff that's happening on campus that don't actually benefit the students, and it's become more of a financial windfall for the school than it is to actually educate the students while at the same time benefiting. You see what I'm saying? I think that the schools have become so far removed from what their original purpose was, and that they're focused on looking at kids as finances. And so also the problem, I think, is we become so woke that they don't care about whether or not the child will actually get through 4 years of college. They're more focused on whether or not they can get the child in there in order to, get them approved so that they can pay for that tuition. And I think that the enrollment rates, even when it comes to like men going to college and stuff, and enrollment rates and for certain universities are down. I mean, they got whole liberal arts colleges, and if you go on that campus, it's a bunch of fairies. It's a bunch of dancers. It's a bunch of guys that's in theater and they in leotards, and it's very sassy. So I don't know. I actually like it. I like the fact that we addressing all of the real issues in our society because personally, I think that we've fallen behind significantly in the rest of the world and how they're performing and how they're educating their kids versus what we're doing because we don't even look at college as an experience to educate you and prepare you for the world. College is an opportunity for them to change your mind, profit off of you, and then get you the fuck out of there with a bunch of debt. And so when you had a bunch of people that was asking for student loan forgiveness, I thought that that was going to be the end anyway. I knew that that was the end of the end. Because once the government had to start forgiving student loans, that was over. If Trump was going to get back in office, all of that shit was going to end. So I don't know. And that's why people like Quentin look at the schools as a scam. They look at college as a scam now because college today is much different than what college was 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. People don't even look like you. They don't even feel like they're getting their money's worth because you get out of college and you can't even get a job that paid what you thought it was going to pay. So I don't know. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, that liberal shit is like out of control. Like that liberal shit is the reason why it was the first real shooting on a college campus anyway. And you know, you learn about that shit when you go to Kent State because that's where it took place at. And
Oh, did it?
they was just some hippies. They was just some hippies trying to protest. They was trying to protest war. You know, they got smoked.
I don't even think that if y'all go to colleges is so much different than when I went to school. Even the stuff that people are talking about and stuff like that is so much different than when I went to school. It's crazy. So
Yeah, well,
Carrie is conflicted. She don't want to say what she really thinks.
I don't, because I don't want to have an opinion on something that I'm not totally aware of. And then, I, as much as I do believe that college has been promoted in a way where it's kind of like 13th grade, like everybody should go to college. That's what I used to think. I now believe that you don't necessarily have to go to college to have a successful life. I still think you should go to college if there's certain things that you want to be, but I don't quite think that I wouldn't make the generalization that you and Slimmy are making about colleges all together. I think that there still is a great variety in the type of college that you can experience. um it is different. I mean, even the school I went to is different in ways than when I was there, obviously, but I don't think that I don't know. I had to do so. I'm gonna do
But you
some
know they
research on
still
what
get
Trump is saying
federal
because
money
I
though,
don't see
Carrie.
that be, huh?
You know they still get federal money though.
And how do you know
Some
it's
of them
different?
do. And again, like I went to a private school, so we didn't. Hampton, their money is from their endowments, the alumni. So that's I recognize that that makes a lot different in and of itself. So I even more so might not know of the schools that Trump is thinking about when he's, saying he wants to end all this stuff. No, Carrie is not lost in the sauce. She just does not know all of the issues in this area. My kids are up to 11. I don't need to right now. So I ain't lost. I got other stuff to focus
What
my
was college
attention on.
like when you went to school,
Thank you.
Carrie?
Huh?
What was college like when you went to school? Oh man, about to
That's
take her down
broad.
memory lane, boy.
That's a broad question.
What was it like? What was the experience like? Did you stay on campus? What
I
was it
stayed on
like?
campus. I had a good experience at Hampton. I stayed on campus the first year, and then I
Huh.
moved off my
Mhm.
last 3 years. Um,
Is that a
what
historically
else you
black
want to
college?
know?
What you mean? What else I want to know? What was your experience
I
like?
don't.
How did?
I mean, it was good. I mean, it was fun. I I don't know how to answer that without you giving me a direct question.
Is that a
Um,
HBCU?
yeah. Uh-huh.
Did you enjoy your college experience?
I did.
Did you learn a
I
lot?
do I do I do wish that I understood how to better utilize college because you do have access to a lot of resources. your professors, I mean, I have really good professors. I should have learned how to tap into what they did outside of teaching, because a lot of them came from a professional space, and then they taught kind of on the side. I thought that people were just being professors. Little did I know that wasn't the case. So I think I could have utilized it better. I could have did more in terms of building for my future, in terms of like learning about wealth building and
So you
learning
was
about
partying.
business stuff. Huh?
So
No,
you
it wasn't that I was partying. It was that I was taught to go to college, to go to college. So I was involved. I was a student leader. I was a good student. I mean, I wasn't slacking. I had a scholarship there. So I wasn't, like, I was there doing my thing, but I was going to college to get good grades. I wasn't going with with a plan, with a strategy of what I was going to use those 4 years for, so that when I got out, it showed for something. I was taught, you go to school, you go to college, and then you get a good job. Like, it'll all just kind of pan out in that way. And
do you
I
think
kind of
that it?
did. Like, I was an inroads intern, and then I ended up interning with Kraft Foods for my junior and senior year. And then, I'm sorry, my junior year. And then after I graduated, I had a job at Kraft waiting for me. So that was good. I wasn't stressing like a lot of other people were. Company car, American Express card, good salary, all of that stuff. However, um, I had decided that I wanted to be in marketing. So I had changed my major, because at first I went to college wanting to be a doctor. I switched that. So when I graduated in craft, I started off in sales. It wasn't until they flew us out to Chicago that the VP of marketing let us know that you can't, in craft, we no longer let you make lateral moves. So you can't, anybody who's in sales, the only way you can get into the marketing side is you got to go get an MBA.
Mhm.
So once I heard that, I was like, well, shoot, I still got to go. Like, I got to go back and do more schooling in order to get over into this department. So that was a huge turnoff. And that was kind of when that's when I started taking more of the entrepreneurial route. So,
Do you think it was worth it?
ugh, I just would do it differently, because I walked out with a lot of debt. Like, my scholarship wasn't full, it covered part of my stay. So I walked out with a lot of debt.
So
Um
was it worth it? How you did it, not would you do it differently. How you did it, was it worth it?
how I did it, true transparency, probably was not worth it how I did it,
Fair
because
enough.
I also think that a lot of, outside of craft, which I eventually got laid off of in the middle of a closing on my house, but whatever. Um
Carrie bitter about that shit. She mad as
I was
hell.
bitter. I got a call. Literally, I was still, when you close, you still have what, like 10 days, I think, before, and you can still reverse it. They called me literally in those days. So, um, but a lot of the jobs that I got after craft, I mean, they might have been impressed that I graduated from Hampton. I don't know, but I believe a lot of the jobs I got were because of the people I knew.
Mm.
So I can't say for sure if that helped me after craft or not. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I would just utilize it better. Like, if you are gonna go to college, if I would map it out a lot better than I did. A
Mm.
lot better.
What
Going
about Charles?
away
I
versus
don't know.
staying in state, all of that stuff.
What about Charles? I don't know if y'all got any additional comments, Slimmy, Quentin.
Man, as far as my schooling, bro, they waxed me, and I had to. I had to work. I never got financial aid like that, bro. Like, and I still to this day, like, I still don't understand it, man. I don't understand like how every man. Look, man, everybody was getting checks back. They would like so when I hear all this stuff about like, oh man, like I never got nothing. Like I never got
Did
nothing,
you
but
fill
I
out a
had to go.
FAFSA? Did you fill out the FAFSA?
Yeah, yes. Hey, this one time it was so bad. I went to community college first. Community college. They
You
was
ain't get a
like, man, we
Pell. You
got
ain't get a Pell Grant.
man.
You
No,
might have
not for
filled out
community.
your FAFSA wrong, Slimmy.
No, I went. No, no. I got
Slimmy,
a
you
Pell
might
Grant.
have
I got
filled
the
out
Pell
the
Grant.
FAFSA
I got
wrong.
the Pell Grant when I went to Kent State. But man, like, man, that whole thing at community college, man, this shit had me hot. They called me in there. They was like, yeah, we gotta you gotta what was it? What was them checks? What was them checks everybody was getting?
You
The
talking about
reimbursement checks,
yeah the refund checks.
refund check. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so after you get your Pell Grant and after you accept whatever it
yep.
is that they give you on the FAFSA, what happens is whatever is not covered by tuition, books, room and board, you get a refund for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After so everybody was getting these like they was getting 5,000, 10,000. I'm like, damn. I'm like, what's going on? Why I'm still paying on my pocket to go to community college? I'm working a job. These niggas going everywhere. They balling. They getting credit cards. So then they finally hit me with the in my email, and then it was like, yeah, you got about $2,000 coming back from your from your grant.
Yeah.
I was like, oh hell yeah. I get there, they was like, well, we made a mistake. I was just like, what? They was like, we made a mistake. You don't really have it. I was man, I was livid. I was livid. I never went back to community college. That was it for me.
So you quit
And then
because you ain't getting no refund check, Slimmy?
no, it was just because I felt like it was I really couldn't I wasn't getting like I wasn't learning nothing. This is just I wasn't learning nothing. Like I yeah.
Y'all,
So when I went and then when I went to Kent State, I never got enough. I never got enough money, and I was working, and then eventually they eventually they just put me out, man. They was just like, well, we you still you can't you act we can't actually kick you off the campus because your room and board is paid for, but you can't go to class.
what?
So I was just
Slimmy, did you?
yeah,
What do you mean?
man. I would I didn't have enough money. I didn't have enough money to continue classes, but room and board was already paid for
Why
through my
who?
loan, through my student loan. So my
But your
student
student
loan
loan
paid for my.
supposed to cover the rest of whatever
Why
your
didn't the
tuition
student
is.
loan cover the class?
I don't know. I don't understand. This is what I'm saying. This is why I was just like, yo, man, what the fuck is going on?
Why you
So
ain't go to
I
the?
mean,
Why
I'm
you ain't
in there
go to
with the
financial
counselor.
aid or the
I'm in
counselor?
there with the counselor. I'm in there with the counselor. I'm in there with financial aid. And I'm like, yo, how can I not go to class?
They
How are
took
my
your money,
classes not
Slimmy.
paid for?
They took
I'm
your
just like,
money.
how are my classes not paid for?
Where'd you go to
And I got
DeVry?
all
You
these
went to
loans, huh?
DeVry? Where'd you go to DeVry?
No, I went to Kent State University.
Slimmy, you might have went to one of them schools where they was like, "Hey man, what you doing on the couch all day? You got to make
Nah,
sure that you get. You got to make sure, man. You got to do something with your life, man. You might have went to one of them
man,
schools.
bro.
Slimmy.
That no, man. Like Kent State is it's
You
a
went to
real
ITT
university.
ITT Institute, something
I
like
did
that.
college.
No, hell no. No. No, ITT closed.
I
They end up
know, cause
closing.
there was one of them. Hey man, what you doing with your life types schools?
No, that's a major university. They play football, college football on TV and
Not
shit.
no. You thinking about the wrong ITT, bro.
No, I'm talking about Kent State.
Oh
I'm talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
Kent
yeah,
State.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I ain't go to ITT. No, my homeboy went there and they robbed him. They robbed my boy. Yeah, that shit was corny, man. Yeah, they did some foul shit. All his credits, he had went all the way through. All his credits that final year, they did not count, man. Like that shit was foul. They weren't. They ended up
Yeah, Everest.
not being recognized.
Yeah, Everest. It was called Everest Institute.